Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our virtual ICAST. My name is JP DeRose. We're here with the Shimano crew, ready to get things kicked off in an absolutely bizarre year. But we are more than excited to welcome all of our fishing industry media, our retailers, and of course, for the first time ever, people from all over the world who have access to seeing us release our new products live. This is an incredible moment for a lot of people, something a little different this year, but I've got some great news for everybody. We've got a ton of incredible product to show you. I've got some of our best pro staff sitting in the background. So I want to say good morning to all of you. To me, as a gear guy, this is Christmas morning. This is the day I wait for. This would be actually the first year in 15 that I have not been attending ICAST. But I am more than happy to share with everybody. So good morning, Paulo. Good morning, Ron. Hope all of you guys are doing well. We have a ton of people checking in from our YouTube feed. Our Facebook feed is going live. So if you guys can do me a favor, click the share button. Let us get this out here. Good morning, Glenn Hughes. Obviously, great to see you here. So without further ado, I'm sure all of you want to see what the new product is for this year, for 2020. We are going to go through our 8 new product showcase products this morning with you. And then tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, all of our freshwater stuff, the full list, will be going through it all. And then on Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we're going to go through all of our saltwater lists. So tons of product, but today we're concentrating on the 8 in 8 categories for the ICAST Best of Show category. So I'm going to bring in the first product here. We're going to show it right like this, and let's do it this way. So Vanford's going to be the first one. The good news is for everybody out there, Vanford is the new replacement for the Shimano Zodiac CI4, and I'm going to bring in one of our pros, Josh Douglas. Josh, how are you doing this morning, buddy?
Oh, man, JP, I'm great, man. Happy to be involved and get to talk about a pretty awesome new reel.
And it is an incredible new reel. Now, for those of you who don't know, people are going to get confused. Vanford is a rebrand because Shimano felt that CI4, Zodiac CI4, needed its own identity. It's not that we're dumping a product line and coming up with something new. This is a brand new version, but it's going to be the name moving forward that represents the old Zodiac CI4. And Vanford came out with some pretty incredible new technology to up the game further with what was probably one of our best-selling reels. Now, Josh, you've had a chance to fish this thing. For those of you who are wondering, the new Vanford is available in a 500 size, in a 1000 size, in a C2000 size, a 2500 size, a C3000, a 4000 size, and now a C5000 size. So this reel, whether you're an inshore saltwater fisherman or you're a finesse freshwater fisherman, has you pretty covered. Josh, give me your experiences on what you felt like when you first put your hands on Vanford.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some CI4 tendencies. You feel the CI4. I was a big fan of that reel for a long time, but it honestly feels a little bit like a CI4 on steroids. Super, super smooth reel. Like there's absolutely no gear noise in that reel. The drag is amazing. I believe it has an extra ball bearing and all that too. But my favorite feature by far is that long stroke spool. Helps me cast a long, long way. And so where I got to use it was on Lake Mille Lacs. So I didn't necessarily get to use it. I got to put it through the riggers with some really big fish and lots of them. And the biggest thing on these glacial lakes, as you know, up there in Canada, is that clear water. You just got to be able to stay away from them. So if I can increase my casting distance at all, that's a huge, huge benefit to me. And that's something that I noticed immediately with the Vanford.
All right. And so for those of you watching, so Vanford's new features that really separate it from what the original or the last generation of CI4 was, it has an MGL spool. And that MGL spool is going to give you up to 48% less startup inertia. That's a big deal when you're finesse fishing, light lines. The long stroke spool is also an addition, which originated with Stella, is now in the Zodiac FL, so it is now also incorporated into Vanford. It is, like Josh said, a little bit lighter, 0.2 ounces lighter than the previous gen, but also has an extra bearing over Zodiac FL, or the last generation, I'm sorry. So big thing also, silent drive. So all those micro meshing gears. The tolerances are so tight that there is no sound in this reel. And then the last thing, micro module 2 gear, which gives you that smooth, cold forged Tagane gear. So Josh, you talked about casting performance. What kind of difference did you notice with the long stroke spool?
Yeah, just distance. You know, the way the line doesn't want to lay on top of itself, but instead roll longer, like you would with a bulk spool fluorocarbon or something. It wants to go longer, which lets it, when you're casting a spinning reel, it allows it to come off the spool better without sticking against that braid or fluoro or whatever it is that you're using. So that was definitely what I noticed, was just that my distance in casting and how the line was laying on that long stroke spool was pretty amazing right off the bat.
Awesome. And then silent drive is kind of one of those things that works in the background. People don't really know it until you spin it. So you had a chance. The last one, and people know this with spinning reels, you get a little bit of a whirring sound at high speed reeling. What did you notice with silent drive? Yeah, there's no gear noise at all. It's something that you kind of take for granted a little bit when you throw nothing but Shimano in your life, and nice Shimano reels at that, and being a spinning reel junkie like I am. It's something you take for granted, something you don't notice until somebody else is in your boat with maybe a different brand or something like that. When you have it, once you have that, and you can just feel how quiet that thing is, and just, it's more even just sound, you know what I mean? Like, it's just a sound reel for such a lightweight reel. It's just really a sound reel with no gear noise at all. The only thing you're going to hear with that reel is that drag. That's it. And the drag performed as you expected. So folks, for everyone who's looking at the stats on this thing, so the 500, 1000, C2500 all come with our felt drag, and then 3000, 4000, and 5000 all have the cross carbon drag put in it. The 2500 and 3000 all push out 24 pounds of drag. So tons of stopping power for those of you who are interested in it. Obviously, this reel will be hitting stores as soon as we can get them produced. But again, Josh, just wanted to thank you for your time to do this. It's a great start to the evening. Or the morning, I should say. I'm so used to this being later in the day, but great start to the morning, and we're going to move on. Josh, I hope you have a great day. We're going to bring in the next product. So folks, stick around. We got more coming at you. Thanks, JP. All right, and we're seeing the forefront of the next one. We're going to bring in Keith Combs for this one. So I'm going to bring Josh out. I'll bring myself back in. And Keith is here. Good morning, Keith. How are you, bud?
I'm doing good. Good morning, JP. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. So, Keith, you were the lucky dog to get to test out the new Zodiac. So, folks, Zodiac is a redesign this year. Still has that great High Power X blank, CI4 reel seats, EVA foam handles, but the back end is where things really changed, where they went to a carbon monocoque handle, much like you see on a Poison Adrena. Keith, give me your first thoughts on that carbon monocoque handle and what its big advantage is.
I think it really makes the rod a lot more sensitive. That's the main thing. The Zodiac rods have been a staple for me and my fishing for really the last 5 years. But the new carbon back grip, it really enhances the sensitivity. And I think the main thing you gain there is just, you have more of the sensitive part of the rod against your forearm, and that really makes a difference when you're wanting to feel things.
All right, and folks, the nice thing about Zodiac is completely redesigned. Obviously, I believe there's 9 casting, 8 spinning, but there's a couple new rods in the lineup as well. For the northern or more finesse fishermen, there's 2 that I'm incredibly excited about. There's a 7-foot light, and there is a 7'6" light, which is going to apply to, Keith, when you guys come north to start fishing those smallmouth. Probably going to be perfect models for that kind of thing. But for you, what's your big go-to for sensitivity? Do you find it for the cranking? Do you find it for the flipping? When are you looking for that extra sensitivity for?
It's really all the time, JP. I mean, anytime, that's just an advantage. If you can get a rod that's more sensitive, that's just an advantage you're gaining over the fish, gaining over your competition. That's something that I'm always shooting for. Like I said, I was very happy with the old model Zodiac, and when they told me the new model was coming out with 30% more sensitivity, hey, life is good, man. But I've had some time to put the rod in my hands over the past few months since we started doing field testing and doing some videos and stuff, and it really does. I mean, it's a more sensitive. It's all the great features we had in the Zodiac for years, plus more sensitivity. What more could you want?
Perfect. And you find that transfers through your arm with that monocoque resting against your forearm as you're reeling? Is that where you're feeling that extra sensitivity come through?
It is. It is. I mean, here's my swim jig rod, and you can see it's a great looking rod. I mean, the changes has made it more streamlined and made it a beautiful rod. But really, when I wrap my forearm around that, that's how I'm sitting most of the time when I'm fishing. That carbon monocoque is right up against my forearm, and that's it's really a place you think of feeling the rod through the reel or through the reel seat or the blank through or something like that. But it's amazing how much more sensitivity you gain by having it against your forearm.
Excellent. And for folks, for those of you who are not familiar with our High Power X technology, the main benefit of that is we're creating a lighter, stronger rod, but it really resists the torsional twist that happens when casting, with fighting a fish, with setting the hook. And it gives anglers more control over the fish, over their cast accuracy, and then over the fight itself. So we're super excited to see Zodiac come in with the new carbon monocoque. Obviously, Keith, we're going to thank you for your time today. We hope you do well in the upcoming events. You got some upcoming events coming up. You're traveling north, so hope you have a great tour when you're coming north. And we're going to keep sliding along here, folks. We got more product to come to you, another 6 products. So do us a favor. Hit the share button. Help us get the word out. Let's get as many people in here as possible. This is obviously live on YouTube and on our Facebook pages. So thanks very much, Keith. Appreciate it, bud.
Thanks, JP. Have a good day.
All right, you too. All right, so let's move on to our next one. So we're going to bring in Captain Jay Withers. Saragosa has been a mainstay for a number of years now since redesigned, and believe it or not, they've made it better. So let's bring in Jay, and we're going to talk a little bit about the new Saragosa. Jay, you were our lucky tester, and you got to shoot with the new Saragosa. Give me your first impressions on what's going on with Saragosa now.
Well, the new Saragosa is absolutely amazing, and I've been a big fan of Saragosa for many years. But one of the first things I noticed is the power in it. Its durability, and with that new infinity drive in this new Saragosa, when I'm catching big fish, which is what I really use that reel for, it's a perfect case scenario for tarpon fishing, which is what I got to battle test it with. Perfect. And let me get back to you here. So new sizes, obviously. So I believe, are we starting at 6,000 with the new Saragosa, Jay? Yeah, I think it's actually 5,000. 5,000, 6,000, yeah. 8,000, 10,000, 14,000, 18,000, 20 and 25? Yeah. Whole line up there, huh? You're covering the gamut with the new reel. So the new features on this, obviously, Infinity Drive would probably be the one we have to talk about first and foremost. Yeah. So the new Saragosa, folks, features Infinity Drive, which was developed for Stella. Okay, so it's got a supported bearing, supported shaft. What did you notice about Infinity Drive? What does Infinity Drive give to you when you're pulling on those big tarpon? The first thing that I really noticed, we have a big fish on, many times as an angler, you try to wind him in instead of using the rod. That's just by sheer trying to gain some of that line back that he's taken. So Infinity Drive just gives you more winding power under that heavy load. And, I see it with clients pulling on them. You try to use the rod to lift and then gain the line back with the reel. But with this, Infinity Drive, it's essentially a winch. And it's been really impressive to see day in, day out on some of these big fish. And no question about it, you can feel the overall power from the handle that goes right into that reel with it. It's really that pinion support that really makes a big difference. All right. And so obviously cross carbon drag for those hard running fish. Yeah. I mean, you're constantly beating up on big tarpon, which are, one of the hardest pulling fish. Are the drag numbers, so up to 44 pounds of drag as we get into the bigger size Saragosas. How much does that help you in the game that you guys are doing? Well, for us, we have to have stopping power. We fish a lot of schools of tarpon, can be 50 to 150 fish in a school. And so a lot of times when you hook up, you have to have the amount of drag pressure to be able to pull that fish out of the school. And without question, this new Saragosa has got it. I was super excited to use it. I was fortunate enough to get to play with it all through tarpon season. And I mean, my clients were just, they've used the past previous Saragosa, and they got to see firsthand what the big difference was.
Awesome. And then the last thing we really want to talk about, obviously IPX8 waterproof drag rating, and then X-Protect, which again, another development that came from Stella just a couple generations ago. So we've got two of the key areas protected by that labyrinth system that's going to make sure, especially with saltwater, that you're going to maintain a longevity in the reel. What is your recommendation for people when you're dealing with that? I know so many people try to keep good care of their reels, but what's your process when you're taking care of your reels in saltwater?
Yeah, really, I'm a simple rinse guy. I don't power wash my reels. That's one of the things that we try to stay away from. But, really, the Saragosa is really kind of a bulletproof saltwater reel for heavy battle tested, right? So, with the X-Protect, a lot of people wonder, well, what if it gets dunked? The dunking is not a problem. I mean, you definitely want to rinse it. But that line roller that we've, really basically increased the line roll durability. So in saltwater testing, where it gets abused all the time, and honestly, I think you could look at a lot of charter captains here in the salt and see just what kind of rods and reels they're using. You're going to see a lot of Saragosas on those boats because they know as well that time after time, day after day, it stands up to the battles.
It is absolutely a workhorse, and it's hard to argue that with 30% more winding power than its predecessor, it's going to be one that will be a mainstay on so many saltwater boats. Jay, want to thank you for your time. Super appreciate it. Hope you keep beating on those tarpon down there, bud.
Yeah, man. Super proud to be part of the team. Thank you very much. Enjoyed it.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, bud. Be
All
good.
Right, take care. Bye-bye.
All right, folks, we're moving on. So again, we're just going to ask you, click that little share button down at the bottom there. Let's get the word out on our new product. Again, folks, today we are just going through our best of show category. We're going to move over to saltwater rod now, which I'm going to bring in Captain Jack Sprengel in just a moment. So let's see what we're looking at here. And it is going to be a complete new redesign with Travala PX. Captain Jack, how are you, sir?
Good, sir. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. So again, folks, these are our best of show categories. We have taken care of freshwater reel, freshwater rod, saltwater reel. We are now moving to saltwater rod. And one thing we want to talk about is the new Travala PX, completely redesigned. 14 models, Jack, both spinning and casting, split grip and full grip, CI4 reel seats and Fuji reel seats, and new guide train that's on them as well. So, Jack, you've had a chance to really put some beats to these rods, and I know you in the Northeast have a ton of fish you can test them on. Designed for jigging, give me your thoughts on them right off the bat.
Correct. These are going to be multitask rods, and basically they're taking the best of the Travala F line, which changed the industry forever, and the wildly popular Travala S series that we've all been fishing up here. We started off with shallow water jigging with them, but we've also utilized them for just about anything, bottom fishing, excuse me, any kind of fishing where you're going to be positioning over these fish vertically and putting a lot of pressure on them. The Travala series has shined. So PX, the biggest things we've noticed right away is just the weight right away. They're a lot lighter. You got CI4 rod grips on them, reel seats. You've got the new C guide system on them. The C guides are a lot lighter. They got deeper frames in them, so they're holding the ceramics in there better, protecting them. Lower profile, highly corrosion resistant. But once you've picked out your favorite, basically they've taken the best of the F and the S series and made this PX series all the favorite models. And now you've got one huge factor that you didn't have in these blanks before. You've got high power X. And the high power X just lets you put a ridiculous amount of load on these rods without feeling it on your body. And that's the biggest thing everyone is going to notice about it. The other thing that's really nice is if you were a Travala S series fan, we have a ton of them here in the Northeast. Now you've got rods that are ranging from 5'8" all the way up to 7 feet and up into spinning models. So these things, you're going to see them being used for a lot of jigging because we jig hard up here and we've got a great offshore fishery and inshore jigging bite. But you're going to see these rods used in a lot of other applications.
Yeah, and until people really put their hands on them, I think you can't quantify how light they actually are. Right. To me, the first time as a freshwater guy, you put your hands on a rod like this, you pick it up, you think it's a freshwater rod. It's that light, which for the fish you guys are tackling is incredible. So, folks, here are your grip layouts. So basically both split grip. The split grip models have the CI4 Shimano proprietary CI4 reel seat, great transmission of sensitivity and lightness. And then the heavier models obviously are having a Fuji reel seat lockdown, very, very well built rods. And Jack mentioned that high power X technology, much like Zodiac, again, reducing the twist that happens so frequently when you're putting big load on rods. It also reduces the ovalization. So where a rod's going to flatten and eventually break, that high power X technology gives rods more durability, more lightness, more strength. It's just a winning combination. And that's why you're seeing it become more prevalent throughout our rod lines. Other things to talk about here, the Sea Guide you mentioned, Jack, they look like they're tangle free when you look over here in the thing. So they are a wide out foot, make them kind of like a tangle free guide as well with the braid.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you basically now you have a jigging rod that you can pitch and cast with as well. Again, that's going right back to what I was talking about with that multi-use feature. If you've been a fan of the Travala series rods, you're going to absolutely fall in love with these. It's one of those rods that when you feel them, you get it right away. So much lighter, so much more powerful. If you haven't been a fan of the Travala series rods, you're about to be.
and here's the specs on them, folks. I mean, 14 spinning, 14 casting models, like Jack mentioned, from 5'8" now up to 7 foot, which was really never available previously. Basically up to, what do we got? 350 gram jig weight ratings. The big thing here, folks, is the systems that they're putting together here at Shimano really help you dial in. There's no more guessing. It'll tell you what pound PowerPro Max and what rated jig weight these rods are created for to ensure you're inflicting the maximum action in the jig on that pump and fall. You want to match that rod to the jigs that you're throwing based on the depth. So Jack, how important is that when you're talking about matching the rod taper and power to the jig weight you're using?
It's great that they're doing this now because, I mean, just using gram ratings in general up here has been standard for the vertical jigging fishery here in the Northeast and almost around the world. But when it comes to talking about jigging, I mean, if you look at some of the specs on these, you've got everything covered from sea bass to tuna in this lineup here. And when you're flipping a jig or when you're trying to impart action on a jig, you know, the less you're having to work your body to get an inverse reaction, to get any kind of motion on that jig, the better you're going to have a longer day. You know, you're going to have a better action on your jig. You're going to have just better results overall. So when you match that gram rating, you know, ounces to grams to whatever you're fishing, you know, mid-water, that's going to have a better result. If you try to put something, if you overload your rod or you underload your rod, you're going to either overwork or underwork that jig. So ideally you want to match that to what you're going to be fishing the most and what water depth you're going to be fishing.
And again, it just falls into the trend we've been seeing with Shimano for over the years, is that lighter, more powerful, less fatigue to the angler, the end user, and more control of the fish. Because at the end of the day, we're all looking to put them boat side. We all want the picture or the meal or whatever it might be out of what we're targeting. So another great addition. So Jack, you're not going anywhere because we've got another one for you. And I know I've seen you use this bait. So let's slide right over to another addition. Kind of excited about this one.
Oh, yes.
The SP Orca Flash Boost. And really, for those of you who don't, we got a couple of videos here to show you exactly how cool this is. But it's a 150 flash boost, so 150 mil, 3X hooks, 3X split rings, through wire construction, propulsion weight transfer system for increased casting distance. This is an incredible lure. And Jack, give me your first thoughts on the SP Orca Flash Boost.
You know what? I've been in the industry a long time, both on the retail side, guiding, and as a recreational angler, professional angler. I've seen a lot of different lures come my way, and anytime something out of the ordinary comes, it gets the raised eyebrow look. Most of my guys know. When I first saw it, I looked at it. I said, "Well, how the hell is it working?" At first, you know, I looked at it and couldn't understand the movement in it. Then I pitched it in the water, and I said, "Oh my gosh, you know, this thing is definitely not a gimmick. This is something here to stay." And I mean, you can see it right there in that video. Just, it takes very little kinetic energy for that mirror inside there, that flash boost system to continue to move. And what that translates to is when you've got fish moving up on the surface, first of all, it's a lure that weighs 2.5 ounces, but it casts like a lure that's about 4 ounces. It's because of that weight propulsion weight transfer system inside of it. You'll actually hear it when you cast it. It'll kind of snap. There's a few freshwater lures like the re-range. I like to fish like that, and it's just an outstanding feature. So you're going to get a little bit more distance for a lure its size, profile, and weight. Then it hits the water, and you don't have to do anything. It's actually like the perfect scenario for a lot of offshore and pelagic fish, where it hits the water and that thing is just throwing light and dancing, and it's actually throwing a pulse into the water as well. There's kinetic movement inside of that bait. And the fact that it's a sinking pencil, now you've got this slow sinking pencil moving through a bait pod into pelagic fish strike zone. It's just an absolute home run. This lure is here to stay, and so is this tech.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I had a chance to fish it in Panama, and it just absolutely destroys fish. So let me see if I can grab the colors for you, Jack, while we're talking here. So here we go here. So for those of you interested, obviously 150 size, so 150 mil, slow sinking weight transfer system, etched scale detail on the bottom of these baits, very super realistic looking, and 6 colors available. I know there's one that you're super excited about in the Northeast there, Jack. I saw your eyes light up when you saw the color. So.
Yeah, that bottom left is going to be a winner for sure. Half beak. I think they really nailed the colors here. They got us covered from the entire country really as far as bait goes, and the Northeast for once is really getting a nice little shining here too. So I'm really excited about that. It looks great.
Yeah, absolutely. So whether you guys are on the West Coast fishing the bluefin bite, or the inshore, nearshore stuff, or Northeast, or in the Gulf, or in Panama, or in Costa Rica, or in Japan, this is a lure that is going to should be in your case when you're traveling worldwide. The new SP Orca 150 FB Flash Boost, something you definitely want to check out. So Jack, let me thank you so much again. Always a pleasure to talk to you, bud. I hope to get to see you soon.
Thanks for having me here. Appreciate it, JP.
All right, we appreciate it. We will see you very soon, bud.
Take care, brother.
All right, so let's get ourselves lined up, folks. Again, thanks so much for everybody for tuning in. This is our virtual ICAST for Shimano. We are ripping through our products. We just finished saltwater lure, and we are going to jump to fishing line. So let's bring this up right here, and we got a new offering, and I'm going to bring in Captain Steve Roger. Hey, Steve, how you doing, bud?
All right, JP, how about yourself?
I'm doing great. So we got our new PowerPro Depth Hunter Offshore, which when you compare to what we had originally with Depth Hunter was originally a metered braid with 25-foot segments of color. The new Depth Hunter Offshore is sporting 100-foot segments. So if you have to get back 200 feet on your drop or on your troll, you no longer have to go through 8 colors. You're going through 2. But the bonus is it has 10-foot black ticks in between the hundreds to give you the ultimate in-depth control or distance control. For those of you who have not seen this before, obviously blue, yellow, red, green, and orange colors that change every 100 feet. And then it is available in 65, 80, 130 pound test in 1,000, 1,500, and 3,000 yard spools. And it features the new EBT technology from PowerPro to give it that smooth abrasion resistance. It's just a great line. So, Steve, I know you're a fan of it. Give me your breakdown on how you're using metered braid like Depth Hunter Offshore.
Yeah, JP, so like first off, with the 25, the older Depth Hunter, obviously they still carry it, but it seemed like it was more of a freshwater product to me. It didn't really do what I needed. Now with that 100-foot color change, it's absolutely huge for us. Whether you're deep jigging, vertical jigging, a lot of that stuff's 200 foot, 300 foot. You can actually count off 3 colors and you're in the fish. It really works well. The other thing we're seeing is even the guys who sword fish before they were using the 25. It's not a big enough change. You're fishing 1,800 feet of water and you want to come up. You actually want to bring a couple colors up. A couple 200 feet. So instead of it being 8 colors having to bring up, you just bring in 2 of the colors up. It's just really, really keyed in on offshore. I don't get excited about a lot of things. I've seen a lot, but this one is one of them, because even for trolling, you can be so precise. These guys that are high speed trolling for these big wahoos up and down the coast, what you have is they're running like 400 feet out, and you're so precise you can actually put 4 colors out. You're 400 feet. Multiple lines, nothing's going to cross, nothing's going to tangle. And then with that little black mark every 10 foot, you can have somebody bring something in 20 foot very quick, very fast, very easy, and very precise. It's definitely something I'm excited about, and I'm using a bunch of it.
All right, and again, that micro accuracy with those 10-foot ticks really makes this, even when you're in off the keys and you're jigging 300-foot wrecks, and you're marking, you're metering fish, suspended, This will give you and your clients the ultimate ability to precisely drop and present your baits, correct?
Yeah, well, that, and not just that, JP, it's like a lot of folks have a hard time feeling the bottom in 300 foot. You have a lot of current, you have a lot of, waves and wind action and boat drift. So a lot of people really can't tell when they're on the bottom because you have so much belly in the line. Well, with this one, I mean, it's so simple to me. I tell the guy to let 3 colors out, and that's 300 feet. So with the drift and the tide, I know that he is in the zone. Before, we'd have guys letting out forever and they never knew when they were there. The bait's laying on the bottom. I'm kind of really strange about jigging. I don't like my fish looking at a still jig. I feel the first time they see the jig, they jump on the jig. So if you let it hit the bottom and it just lays there and you don't move it, well, everybody's swimming up. They're putting their nose right on top of it and they're like, okay, that don't smell right. That don't look right.
It's a reaction, yeah.
The key to everything is in salt water, because so clear, the fish got great eyesight, is don't let him look at it. I mean, it hit and then you move it and he'll have to bite it or he doesn't get to have a meal. So yeah, very precise, man. It's something special, but don't knock away the trolling thing. You can get a bunch of lines out there and, if they're the same distance and we can get exact, we can turn and do whatever we want to do and those lines will never cross. It's huge. It's absolutely huge.
And again, folks, this is the new Depth Hunter Offshore from PowerPro, available again in 65, 80, and 130-pound test in 1,000, 1,500, and 3,000 yard spools. A big thing, again, for those of you who've not used a lot of braid in the saltwater, it's a game changer. Zero stretch, very thin diameter, all the benefits. The sensitivity is off the charts. So with EBT technology, giving you that maximum diameter to strength ratio and abrasion resistance, and color is not going to fade on it. 5 colors repeating over the course of the spool. Folks, definitely check out the new Depth Hunter, PowerPro Depth Hunter Offshore. So Steve, thank you very much for your time. I know you've been up working on some boats that got loose for the last couple of days. So get yourself some rest. We thank you very much for your time today, bud.
All right, you got it. I'm excited about that Travala rod, dude, because that line belongs on that rod.
Absolutely.
And if anybody enters my back cage, I'm like, hey, you want to see something cool? Grab the tip, and you can. I'm excited about the Travala to go along with that Depth Hunter. So, good deal, man. Take care, JP, and thanks for having me, buddy.
All right, bud. You be good. All right, folks. Thanks. We're moving along here. We just got through our line, and let's see what we got. Let's go up to our next product. We are going to do is, as soon as I find it, I think I'm going to bring in our good buddy Trey. Trey, is that you sitting in the background there?
That is
a clean-shaven Trey.
Yeah, I got to fight with my razor, man. It got really hot here in South Carolina, and I got the COVID beard had to go. But yeah, man, glad to be here. Glad to show you the new Shimano Experience Center in the background too. We have the new smart wall up here, and yeah, it's actually good to be in the office a little bit, as we've all been working from home here for several months. So
awesome. So let's bring up this picture, Trey. So we got a new combo. The Symmetry Combo, which was kind of shelved for a little bit in the North American market, but it's back, and it's back with a vengeance as a combo. So why don't you run us through what is going on with this new Symmetry Combo?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, we retired the Symmetry brand a few years ago in favor of Noski, and Noski's become our new reel at $99. It's a great performing product. We were presented with the opportunity to bring back the Symmetry brand, and we did so in a $99 combo. So Shimano, we're taking more efforts to be serious in the combo category. You may or may not know it, but right now we're experiencing the largest fishing participation boom globally, basically, in the history of the world. More people are fishing right now than have ever fished before, because it's a healthy and safe activity, easy way to spend time outdoors. You don't have to be around large groups of people to do it. So combos are booming right now in the business, and this is a perfect time to be releasing this. And what you're going to get from a Shimano combo is that quality, right? So we wouldn't be calling this a Symmetry if we didn't believe in the quality of it. And we feel that this reel could probably stand alone at $99, but we're offering a ton of value. I'll let you in on a little trade secret, but this is actually a $59 rod that we're selling with this as well. So this is basically a Celis rod with a different paint job. So together it's a ton of value for the consumer. And, just in the last couple of weeks, I've had 3 to 5 friends who are just non-fishermen reach out to me and they're like, hey, I'm just trying to get started. What do I look for? And they want something that's not incredibly expensive because they're just kind of dipping their toe in the water, but they don't want that low-end tackle. So, this $99 price point combo is going to be awesome for kind of a beginner that wants that Shimano quality, right? And it's going to come in a host of sizes. We've got stuff in here from 1,000 ultralight combos all the way up to a 7.6 medium heavy rod on a 4,000 size reel that can be used for stripers and inshore usage. And we've got 2-piece versions of everything as well. I know your Canadian counterparts up there really value 2-piece rods. It's also great for e-commerce, right? But a ton of options and really value packed. This reel is going to have a T3 body, propulsion line management system, made in Shimano's factory, a ton of quality here.
And again, so the rods, stainless steel frame guides, aluminum oxide inserts, really high quality. Is that a 24 or 30 ton?
Yeah, it's a blended blank. And really crisp and lightweight in hand. It doesn't feel like a combo rod. This is something that can stand alone on a shelf and pass for a really nice fishing rod. We feel really good about the spec on this. It's got a nice hook keeper on it as well. The stylized foregrip, anodized aluminum foregrip. It's really great looking, matches perfectly. This is actually a new anodizing color that we developed for the spool, and we've matched that to the winding checks as well. So it's kind of this forest green, really sharp, both on the shelf and on the deck of your boat, or in the trunk of your car, or wherever you fish, right? That's the thing is, within this combo series, there's really something for everybody. No matter if you're putting a 2-piece combo in the trunk of your Toyota Camry to fish cemetery ponds like I did as a kid growing up in Chicago, or you're strapping in the front deck of your bass boat. This is a combo that won't look out of place on the front deck of a bass boat, right? For somebody who just needs to add another spinning combo to their arsenal. So it's a wide variety of usage and a big group of consumers that this will work for. And when I get those questions moving forward from my what I would call non-fishing friends on how to get started, I'm going to be pointing every single one of them towards the Symmetry Combo. It's
absolutely.
It takes a lot of work out of, you want to get when you get into explaining sizing and powers and actions and all these things to beginners, sometimes it overwhelms them. It's like they have to be eased into it, right? So you come at them with this is what I recommend. Use it, tell me what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and then we can make better recommendations on how to improve your tackle based off of what your experience was with this combo. So
awesome. When can we see these things start hitting retail, Trey?
They'll start hitting retail this fall. As many people know, COVID has caused basically the global supply chain shutdown for several months, and it's really led to a lot of issues for getting product. You may walk the shelves of your local dealer right now, and things look problematic in places because we've combined this massive spike in fishing participation with a global supply chain shutdown. So we would have loved to have these ready to launch and ready to sell in the summer, but we're looking later towards that October and Q4 timeframe when you'll see these at retail. But we're bringing a lot of them in. We've got some great retail partners that are getting on board with this combo as well. So we expect them to be out there in mass and really readily available for consumers. So this is something that we're taking really seriously, and we're super excited for it as a product.
As usual, Shimano pushing the bar to give more value to the customers in the end. So Trey, thanks very much for your time. I appreciate it. Hope to see you guys real soon.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Can't wait to get back up there and see you.
All right. You be good. All right. So folks, we're going to keep going along here. I'm going to do a quick recap. We got one more product left to go in our new product showcase. And again, thank you so much for sticking with us. I know it's early on the West Coast. Very appreciated when we ask you guys to get up at 6:30 in the morning, and you actually do. So again, let's just walk through what we've seen so far. So we started off the show with the Vanford, which is right here. So Vanford is our new CI4 version. It's the new branded Vanford reel, which is going to replace Stratic CI4, available in 500, 1000, C2000, which is actually a new size reel for us. It is basically a 1000 sized frame with a deeper cut spool. There's a 2500, C3000, C4000 and C5000, both featuring, now they all have silent drive, long stroke spool, and an MGL rotor being the main selling features. 7+1 bearings, phenomenal reel. When you put it in your hands, spin it to believe it. The next thing we talked about was a new rod coming out and redesigned, and that is Zodiac. What we failed to mention, and I should have, because we get so many questions about it, is a hook keeper. Yes, Zodiac now has a hook keeper. It also has the carbon monocoque handle as part of it, and we've got a few new models, especially if you're into the brown fish or finesse fishing techniques. We got a 7-foot light spinning, and we've got a 7'6" light spinning, which are going to be perfect additions. I'm super excited about that. As we slid over to the saltwater side, Saragosa been redesigned as well. So Saragosa is completely redesigned, available from 5,000 to 25,000 sizes, I do believe, up to 44 pounds of drag with the cross-carbon drag system. Infinity drive being the one major component that has changed on the new Saragosa, adopted from Stella, our flagship reel. So something you're going to want to check out for sure. We then met up with our good friend, Captain Jack Sprengel, who explained to us about the new Travala PX series of jigging rods, but really a multi-application jigging rod that will do live baiting and a whole bunch of stuff, available in both split and full grips, CI4 reel seats, Sea Guide guides on them. So a very good addition. 14 spinning and 14 casting models coming to the market with high power X technology. And then after that, Jack talked about one of my favorites, the SP Orca Flash Boost. Just an incredible new lure that kicks off a ton of action and attraction based on this mirror system that's set on springs. And after that, we just talked to Captain Steve Roger about Depth Hunter Offshore from PowerPro. New redesign with 100-foot colors rather than 25-foot colors, and 10-foot ticks for the ultimate control in distance, whether you're trolling, deep dropping, or jigging in the salt. And then Trey obviously just went through the newest thing for us, which is our new Symmetry Combo. So I'm going to close off a bunch of these for you folks, and we're going to get to our last product, but definitely not least, right here. So I'm going to bring in Nick, I believe, is there. It is Nick. Hey, Nick, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. You doing good?
Oh. Hey, you lost the bud. All right, you're good. All right, so Nick, explain to us, please. We got new Barona tackle bags. What are the features about these bags that make them so convenient for anglers these days?
Yeah, I mean, this bag is one of our premium bags in our collection. We've updated our entire bag collection for 2020. Really excited about it, but we're going to speak specifically about the Barona. So this is a model that's existed previously, and what we did was we essentially re-engineered it. We looked at what the marketplace was telling us, what our feedback from the consumer was in regards to what could we do better. The bag was great, how can we make it better? And so we completely used a new fabric. So the whole bag is done in a ripstop polyester fabric. It's a heavy denier fabric, which means it'll prevent snags and pulls, so your hooks won't get stuck in it. Things are most likely not to get stuck and pull on it and pull away the fabric. It takes away the look of it, and more importantly, it takes away the longevity of it. Next, we increased our staying power when it comes to the reinforced double stitched seams. So a problem with a lot of bags across the marketplace is where you stuff it for too long, or you overload it, or you just hide the bag and you beat it up. The seams start ripping apart and rendering the bag unusable. So with a double reinforced stitch seam, these seams are reinforced for longevity. This bag is added length and life, and you can also expect it to just perform much better. And finally, but certainly not least, is our TPU zippers. So all of our zippers, all of our bags will feature TPU, which is a thermoplastic polyurethane plastic zipper. What that does is, A, it's super durable, but B, it's corrosion resistant. So if you bring this in your salt water, you don't have to worry about the zipper stopping or getting corroded and preventing you from using the bag. Other features of this bag, which include an adjustable shoulder strap. You also will include 3 37-inch size tackle trays, as you see here, and storage kind of up the wazoo, so to speak, right? You got a top storage compartment here. You can throw your reels, you can throw your jacket, you can throw anything you can think of in there. You got side packs, pocket storage on each side. You can access this front compartment 2 ways, right? You got Velcro on both sides, so if you want quick access, it drops right down. Also zippers, so if you're bringing it on a long trip, you don't need it right away. much sturdier with the zippers on both sides, again, TPU zippers. So all these new features make this bag really gonna last much longer. We were able to keep it at the same MSRP as the previous model. So you're getting all this new functionality, all this new technology at the same price point as the previous model. So we're really excited to bring that to market.
All right, and so you guys are obviously seeing a bigger trend in anglers who are on the road, traveling, not having a boat. Is this kind of the focus you guys are having with these bags to make sure that these guys are as well set up with their tackle as guys who have boats and all their gear in them?
Exactly. So whether you're doing similar what Trey said, you're pond hopping, or if you're going onto someone else's boat and you just don't have the normal access to all your tackle you want to bring with you, this is just a one-stop shop to be able to bring everything you need for that quick fishing expedition. All
right, so folks, there you go. The new Barona tackle bags, and these are being obviously entered into the accessory category for the ICAST new product showcase. So again, Nick, thank you very much for explaining the new Barona tackle bags. A ton of features, including the ripstop, is a great thing because we all tend to get hooks in our bags at some point during the day. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time. We will continue on here, but we have run through all of our products, folks. That is basically a wrap for what we got for our virtual ICAST. We tried to hit the 45-minute mark. We're at 49 minutes and 19 seconds. I'm going to consider this a total win. So we're hoping you guys will obviously share this post for us. Get it out there. New product showcase for Shimano, virtual ICAST this year. Yes, things are a little different, but I am so excited that we were able to share this with everyone around the world. Obviously, our fishing industry media representatives and our retailers and purchasers. So folks, thank you for joining us. Please set the reminder, go to either our Shimano Facebook page or our Shimano YouTube channel and get a reminder, because tomorrow night we are deep diving on freshwater at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. We are going to be going through all of the new product, and trust me when I say all, there is a lot of new product coming for the freshwater and saltwater world. So Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m., freshwater, deep dive. We got our pros, we got our staff from Shimano North America. And then on Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, we are going to be deep diving on the saltwater products. So thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy the times. We will see you tomorrow night. Have an awesome one.